congratulations on this film. I've been watching him on TV since the 80s, when the first distinctly remember when the first documentary came out. And that was quite the experience. So let's start here, because his mother appears in those original documentaries, and it's a mixture of love together with pain and loss, a mourning for, in some respect, mourning for life that could have been. So what did you do to connect with the character of his mother in that way?
Just that. I started with the documentaries, just over and over, just trying to look at her eyes, what's she thinking, what's she feeling while all this stuff's happening, and just try and get a sense of what she's, this heaviness, this sort of, like you say, the loss and the overwhelming. I think she was overwhelmed, but strong at the same time, and it was all interesting to try and just get wee clues into her and take it from there.
And through this film, you must have come into contact with a number of the Tourette's community. When this film was set, there was absolutely none of that support available. How do you tap into that kind of loneliness?
I don't know. I mean, that's what it was like. There was no information, no computers to just tap a key and find out, where the local society is. There's nothing. What is it called even? What's happening? So, but somehow, she did do a little bit. I think she did try with the doctors and all that sort of thing as best she could. And then you just need time to pass, don't you? You need decades to pass for the information to get out there, for people to start caring, and John himself. It's the strength of John, that determination to keep going, and Peter's character, giving him an opportunity. It's all these things that amount to the future being maybe a bit better.
And your character does restore faith in humanity because to start with, it is fairly bleak, and there are some horrendous situations. But your character does come on and bring him in such a way that really lifts him up.
Yeah. We were talking about it earlier today. I hadn't realised till I watched the film. I hadn't realised where he comes in John's journey. I hadn't fully appreciated that moment was as pivotal as it was for John to get the job, to get some positivity back into his life. And I hadn't realised it until I watched the film, that there was a man who actually opened things up so that John's life could take a different track, a track that could lead him somewhere that wholesome and hopeful. And that hadn't occurred to me when I was doing it.
And it's a wonderful story for this time because it's very open-hearted in that sense, and is about lifting up other people rather than trying to climb to the top of the pile. With your character, what do you think? What was it? Do you think was his motivation for just being his love and acceptance that he gave John?
I think he's just a very straightforward guy who comes from a long Scottish tradition of equality. Basically, it's old-fashioned socialism. He's a working man who believes that everybody should be given a chance and everyone's on equal level. Nobody's better than you, nobody's worse than you. It's a very straightforward approach, and it's not unique to Scotland by any means, but it's very much rooted in Scottish history. And he is very much a man of his place and his time. That if you like, rugged, honest Scot, man and woman who puts nobody on a pedestal but nobody in the gutter. A man's a man for all that. We're all equal. And he's one of those guys. It's no more or less complicated than that, really.
He wouldn't analyse it even like that himself, would he? He'd have just gone,
no.
Yeah, I like you enough, that's fine.
Yeah.
And just lastly, what could you say about your experiences with John? Because he's an MBE, he's inspired many people. What's something personal, a personal memory that you're going to take away from this?
Just his force of nature, his resilience, his joy of everything. We watched the film last week for the first time, and he sat in the front row and ticked and Touretted throughout the whole thing, and it was like the best cinema experience I think I ever had. There was so much love and fun and joy in the whole audience, and he's just a wonderful person, a really good guy.
I didn't know him. I only met Johnny after the film, so I'd never met him. A cousin came up to me in a funeral and said, "Have you done that film about John Davidson?" And I didn't know who he was talking about. And he said, "The guy with Tourette's." I went, "Oh, yeah. And he said, "Well, tell him from us, we didn't appreciate him swearing at us." And they were deadly serious. I was like, all right, so what happened? And apparently he came up to him and swore at him when he was a kid, and it upset them deeply. I was like, what, you've no fucking grown out of this? This is, how long ago did this happen? They were like, oh, it was a while back. I was like, by the sounds of it, it was like 40 fucking years ago.
And everybody
So,
swore.
I mean, since when did they become so sensitive? So that was all I knew.
Well, congratulations on this. It's a very moving film and very uplifting. It was great to see it. So thank you so much.
Thanks, man. Take care.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey, you guys!
Hey, you guys!